Yes, under 8.6, I'd like to put down Highway 101 Phase 2, letter to the minister. Is there anything else? If not, can I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Would it be too soon to ask? I know there was a report. Just wondering about the. I suppose the staff outing off the brief wait for a meeting with the gentleman. Jerry.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So,
all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. No presentations tonight. Daniel's and unsafe. Floor is yours, Alfred.
Yeah, that should be on there. Okay, I guess, I don't know, Jeff mentioned to you whatever we had to, but we're down to one. One of the ones we were going to talk about. The owner came in last week and discussed the possibility of taking it down himself, and there's no problem, so that was done. That was done. I guess that's what the condition of the building was.
That one there, yeah.
Dairy, we're talking about the dairy tree thing.
Yeah, so all tore out. So anyway, that was taken down today. As you can see, Carl just finished up and leveled it off.
Yep.
So it was all cleaned out, leveled off, and 2-3 days from now, you forget there's ever anything there.
Wow, I wish they were all like that, eh?
They were that easy.
Jeez, we should send him one of those municipal awards. He does up and everything. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Maybe have some pride in your belongings. Wow.
Conscientious citizen.
Yeah, really
or
awesome.
Something, yeah. So it just led to the second one that I had. That we had to. And here was in Wellington Street in Westport. Letter was sent to the owners.
Second time you've dealt with this one, isn't it?
A while
For the overgrowth.
Yeah, the overgrowth, and this time for that building, and there was concern with the ones that live right beside that old garage or whatever. That green building is what they call their well house. Inside is their well and their pump, and that's probably a foot away, and it's leaning and rotted out, and the skater's going to fall on it. That's long pictures. Everything's grown up. It's hard to get in there and see anything.
They spent like $4,000 cutting all that stuff down about 4 or 5 years ago, and then it just never, one more thing, grew all right back. It was just money in a hole.
I know. The buildings let go, and I mean, the property, I would think, is quite valuable. There's a house on it and everything. So.
It used to be a beautiful, well-kept house, too. It's a real shame.
Nobody lives in it?
It hasn't for many years.
So I would think, if it comes to the point that we do take it down, which I'm requesting, but if we do and we have to pay, it goes on their taxes, I would think we could recoup that one. Cost of that garage.
Yeah, it's on the water. It's on the water, right there on the Wellington Street, or the new lane they call it locally.
Has the homeowner contacted you on that?
He hasn't contacted me. None of them have. There's two of them. There's the two names, John and Patricia. The letter was sent to them on October 12th. So we're November 14th. And there was nothing back from them whatsoever. I did do an inspection. I received a complaint on the 13th of September, and I did do, the person that had contacted me for the complaint wanted to be there present when I did my inspection, and that person was away on vacation, so that's why there's that time frame before, from the time I received the complaint to when I did eventually go. He wanted to be present, so I waited, and he contacted me that he was back, and then we made arrangements. I went down. He wanted to be there And I looked at it, not the one that owns it, but the original complaint person. So anyway, inspection was done. I took a looked at it, and I found it to be pretty rotted. It's pretty well collapsing everywhere, and it is leaning, and it is in a condition that should be taken down before it does fall, cause some damage on that well house that we see in the green building. So I guess as you can see, my recommendation would be to demolish it because of its condition and to prevent any possible damage to the building alongside of it. That would be my recommendation for it.
When the letter goes out to the homeowner, does it go by registered mail, or is it just in the regular mail?
It goes regular mail. I send it where what I usually do is I usually see what the address I have. I then go in and talk to Nicole and see where did their taxes go. Then I say, are their taxes being paid? So if they are up to date, and that's telling me that that address is an address that they're receiving it. If they say, well, it hasn't been paid in a year or two, then I wonder if that address was valid, you know. And it should be, the address that they would have received. It's the same thing with the other one that we dealt with in Plimpton. I received nothing from them also. But then on my second one that I sent that we were looking to have it tore down, then they answered.
So we sent 2 to this one?
No, just wanted this one advising them that I was going for November 14th and asking council to have their garage demolished. That if they want to either appear in front of you guys or email me something, then I would present it on their behalf or bring it to you. And there was nothing at all. So if I recommend that it be demolished, if that's approved, I will then send them a letter, probably giving them, I'm going to try for 3 weeks, and send them a letter saying that if it isn't done in 3 weeks, that we will demolish it and we put on their taxes like the same documentation everybody else gets.
Where the owners live?
Bedford.
No, it's not that far away, they came from there.
It's only Bedford, and
I remember having their phone number. I think I got it from Jimmy years and years ago. I called them up and told them, I don't know if I called them for some reason, something to do with this. Maybe, they want to know a recommendation for somebody to clean out all the rubbish.
If the landowners contacted you and you gave them 3 weeks and they said, okay, well, we can't come down till such and such date, are you flexible then when they do that?
if they were to contact me and say we realize that, so whatever, blah, 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 whatever they want to say, we can't come down till in January or something after the holidays, the reason they're giving me makes sense, and I'm flexible, I'll wait.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't,
Can't wait too long, that'll collapse on its own.
well, that's it, and it depends how they word it, and then I usually send them back something saying, give me a time. I don't like to get a time of, well, sometime this winter after Christmas I'll be down. That's too vague. Give me a time frame, give me a date, and if they'll give me a date, by that date or before it'll be down, then I usually answer back and accept it if it's not too far in the future. But then I also tell them, if it's not down by that date, I will be going down a few days later to do it before. Okay. So we're not held up by promising them to wait and wait and wait.
James is one of those houses that are just like a lovely, beautiful house and then sat there for decades.
We're only talking about taking down the garage, not the house.
Yeah, it's probably, but anyway, that's it for the garage. Like in all these, I'm always flexible on. I'd sooner they do it than we do it. It's no good. It doesn't always work
better.
out.
Okay. Any other questions for Alfred on this?
Nope. Good job, thank you.
Can I have a motion?
So moved that we take the advice what do they say here?
A motion to move that we, give them 3 weeks' notice to respond and then, have the building torn down.
Have it tore down?
And if not, that we proceed with doing it ourselves.
The motion should be in order to demolish with 3 weeks to comply.
Right.
Okay, so a motion to
So
demolish in 3 weeks.
so you moved it?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. While you're still here though, I have one question. Did you talk to Alfred about the Chesapeake Road?
Yes.
Yeah. You gotta do that too. That's going up by the laundromat, going up that road.
Yeah, I drove by there the other day, and, it's got a lot of old cars in the yard, and it's got some other stuff around there, something with a tarp over it, but it's very questionable how you could determine that to be unsightly.
Well, and I'm gonna look at that tomorrow. I've got another thing, 2 things, but that's the other thing in that area. But yeah, that's the tough thing about when people call they got old cars. Well, yeah, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people has a vehicle or two. A few vehicles. I mean, where do you draw that line, or where do what's?
I told the complainant that as long as the vehicles were intact and they were not, salvaged, that there's nothing you can do about it. They can have it, you can't dictate to a person how many vehicles they have in their driveway.
No, that's what I mean.
Anyway, if you happen to look at it, just let me know how you make it.
Yeah, no, too. And I have one which kind of surprised me that, I'll probably bring that up next month, or I'll give you a report on it anyway. You have pictures, but, in another place, there was a lot of vehicles in front of their yard. A lot. And that was up Plimpton Station. And I talked to the owner and with his vehicles and gave him a cleanup order, dangerous and unsightly, to clean up the vehicles. And surprisingly, I gave him 60 days because, he had a lot of vehicles. He probably had 2-3 dozen vehicles. And there's only a couple left. He talked to me last week and he said, I've got them putting there all cleaned up, but 2 or 3 of those are real old. They're old, but he plans on fixing up whether he will or not, but I understand they're vehicles, yeah, they're worth something fixed up, but whether they ever will be fixed. So I was quite surprised, but I'll get pictures, and I'll give you a small report on that next month. That was good on that one too. We got that one cleaned up. That's probably the second or at least the second time I dealt with that one over the years. Yeah. As soon as you see it, you'll know what I mean.
Once again, glad to hear people taking pride and, not leaving it up to the municipality and the taxpayers to carry their responsibility.
I know. Some people do try, and some want to. Some people just don't have the money. Some people don't care. But, it's a tough battle to try to decide who to go after and who decides how much junk is junk. Anyway, it is what it is.
Okay, well,
We do what we can.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay, we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes for October the 10th. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Old business arising. Old businesses I put down with the Smith Cove Steward. When I was in Smith Cove on Remembrance Day, I noticed that the paving hasn't happened yet. And also a homeowner on the Sunset Road, they talked to me about when can I hook up. They went and put the pipes in the ground in July, and they want to hook up. And so the system's not apparently obviously ready yet, or they would have been hooked up. But anyway, I'd like to know whether or not there's a recourse that we can have with the contractor as far as writing a letter or calling them and talking to them about getting this work done, or
Hold back some money.
There's always a holdback. But Jeff we're aware that there's 3 homeowners that are waiting to hook on, and I know Jeff has been speaking with our engineers, and they've been in contact with the contractor, and we were advised, Jeff was advised today, in response to his email, that they were on site today, and that this week, by the end of the week, they're hoping to have that minor issue repaired, and then whether or not they get the paving done. I think the issue is more that they fix, there's a small leak in the manhole, that they repair that, so that then after that, there's pressure testing that has to be done. So we realize time is coming short in terms of construction. In terms of, we do not include any kind of penalties for delays. That's not recommended to do that in a tender, because in the same token, if they get it done earlier, then there's bonuses that, that you have to apply for. There's always holdbacks, and the holdbacks are more for, the work that they've done. If there are any issues after the work's completed, then we have the holdback that they can, that we do until and we don't pay them until that's rectified. I don't know, Jeff, you've had some contact with.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is this one ended up a bit odd, because we've got the two separate jobs. Like, agreed, Sunset and the sewer line on Sunset is done. The whole job is being commissioned and handed over to us at once, because it went in one tender. The engineer wasn't, and to be honest, the people aggressively pushing to connect are on Smith Cove Crossing Road anyways. That's certainly the more aggressive group of residents we're hearing from. But the engineer was kind of recommending not separating the two. We're trying to take this piecemeal. We just get into more challenging situations. That it has been challenging trying to get this last bit addressed, and there's no doing with that.
Well, the other concern I have is they need to get the asphalt down, because you're going to have a really bad mess up there. Because I saw how they cut down the middle of the road coming from the campground on that road, and it's a mess right now with just the way it's sitting. I saw it on Saturday, and if they have to plow that with gravel like that, that's not going to work.
No, and the issue with the manholes as well.
That's right. We won't have any.
Well, that's why I kind of asked when we tendered it about the asphalt with this group, because they're not known to have good asphalt, good asphalt down. It's going to be a sloppy job, and then.
Well, up until this point, the job, we've had no issues with the contractor, other than the fact that they were working on a bigger job in the valley, which I think they left that job to come to our job, and then they got called back. So it's an unfortunate ending to what has been, a pretty positive, relationship. So.
Well, I just hope they get ready before it freezes, because it's going to be a bad mess otherwise. And can you contact Doug Miller on Sunset Road and let him know the status on the hookup, possibly? He's the person I was talking to on Saturday.
And I think at this point, Doug Miller has not contacted our office or any of our staff to connect to the system.
He's not one of the
He's not one of the three.
He told me he's been waiting to hear when he can hook on. His assumption is that someone's going to let him know when he can hook and do it.
No, that's not how any of our process on any of the sewer that's been installed in Smith Cove over any year has ever been done.
They reach out to us.
They reach out to us. They're aware sewer goes in on their road, and they contact us. Like I said, the other three owners have contacted us. They filled out their required paperwork here, and that's why we're in touch with them. And Doug has not reached out to anybody.
Is it possible to contact him now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anything else on that? If not, we're going to move on to new business. We have a request from Engage Nova Scotia, a funding request for $500 to help support the work they do. And we did participate in a session they had down in Metagan.
They've done a lot of good things, period.
Yeah.
Some good information and good stuff from them for years. So I motion that we give them a $500. What do we have left in our? That's a good
It's around
question.
3,000.
Okay.
So I motion that we, give Engage Nova Scotia $500.
I'll accept. I'm not a giant fan of these company places from away, but this is something I think is overall very good for the entire province. So yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. The next two, Digby Municipal Fire Service dry fire hydrant request and the Digby Municipal Fire Service pallet for firefighter foam request. I'd like to have a motion to refer those to our budget process.
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. The next one is recommendation for a portable generator kit, and that would have to go to our budget process as well. A motion to move that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Shine a light on women abuse campaign. They'd like for us to light up our property with purple lights to, for an awareness on, women's abuse issues, and, what's the other council?
I'd like to make a motion. I think this is definitely something that is very much needed. Any sort of attention to the issue. Like it's no magic bullet or anything, but it's good to have these things, you know, sitting in the public consciousness, even if it's something little.
Yep, I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. The next one is Highway 101 Phase 2 letter. Background on that, last week when I was in Halifax to the UNICEF conference, I had a chance to talk to Minister Hines, who's the Minister of Transportation. I thanked him for the fact that they're starting the highway work and they're doing that. So I said, when I look at your 5-year capital plan, I said, Phase 2 is not in it. So I said, you know, I'm concerned that you know, we're not going to fit in that. So he suggested that we send a letter off to him.
Is Phase 2 the overpasses and stuff like that?
Phase 2 would be to continue on down towards Weymouth North.
I'd like to be able to put phase 2 and 3 together.
Well, but we need to at least send, I think at least get them to commit to moving on farther down. I do know that they're under a lot of capital pressures as far as other road work in the province, and but I don't want to see this drop off the radar, and so I think a letter going to the minister and CCing it to the premier and CCing it to Gordon.
No luck about talking about starting on the other end or
We should
anything?
CC Colin Fraser too, because we're gonna need to borrow money.
This is respecting getting on the 5-year capital plan?
Oh, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So, if we're starting on the other end, it wouldn't matter, it's still part 2, like, you know,
Yeah.
more work than what they're doing, you know, what they've committed to do right now, so I just don't, you know, where they're starting it, I'd like to see them continue to finish.
Gentle nudge to keep the momentum
So
going.
I think, if we send them a letter, it's official, it's on the books that, you know, we put in a request to, at least we'll get a reply back.
I motion to send a letter to Minister Lloyd Hines for the phase 2 and the next 5-year inclusion 5-year
Capital
plan.
plan.
Yep.
You have a seconder?
I'll second that for sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
What just happened? How did that happen so fast? What's going on?
Chief Administrative Officer's report, meeting dates and reminders. I'm not going to read them off. You've got a copy of them.
Right on.
Okay. CAO update. You've all had a chance to review the CAO's report. Do you have any questions?
Really like the reports from the staff members, going through them and seeing all the good stuff everybody's accomplishing. I really like it.
Is there anything you wanted to raise?
Oh, no, I really like how it looks, and it makes you feel like you got a bit of a finger on the pulse of the municipality, and I like it. And once again, the professional, it's almost as if he was a former professional writer. I've been liking them, period, I think, rather than singling them out.
Just, there's no questions. I just wanted to mention the fact that this report is a little different than what I've normally produced for the committee of the whole. And it will look a little different than the one that I give to council. So what you don't see in this one is the update on the capital project. You don't need it twice a month.
No, you don't.
And the other part of it is the update from previous meeting action items. I think that will be reflected in the new agenda format under business arising or unfinished business.
Right on.
And if there's anything else that I needed to highlight, it would be included in there.
Nice to see modernization afoot.
Matthew, do you have any questions?
No, I'm
to the report? Okay. Correspondence, employee recommended workplace award.
12-month notice letter I saw. That's not going to affect us terribly, is it?
What's that?
The workplace compensation, the ECB, that's what I'm assuming.
Employee recommend workplace award. 12 months. Oh, we haven't done the first one yet.
Oh, sorry, ADD. Stop it.
Is this something that you want to do through council, or I mean, at the municipal office? That you have to register to do surveys?
Not at this point. No.
Okay, so this is just for information.
It's the correspondence for information, there's no action required from them.
And the next one is a letter, it's 12 months notice. The workers' compensation board's cost.
It's now under the rules of the
Yeah,
Act.
nothing we can do there about that, just information.
May impact our budget going down the road.
Minimally, but not much. Well, there's quite a few staff, I guess.
That, and they're talking about fire, volunteer firefighters.
Yeah, it's in there. And the third thing was a letter from the town of Clark's Harbor, supporting the process for adoption of resolutions that was put forward by municipality of the District of Barrington. This came in on October the 17th. Since then, we've attended the UNSN Fall Conference, and there was discussion at the conference on resolutions, processes, and it's an ongoing work. They're still trying to fine tune it. Yep. So, saying that, no in camera, motion to adjourn.
A second.